Forget the weight. 9 pounds she's giving, Zenyatta has given up in here. So you got 9 pounds. You've got a pace disadvantage. And, you know, a filly that's got some class in St. Trinian's.
A call for riders up. And now she makes her way around the paddock area here at Hollywood Park. And the applause breaks out, and she hasn't even run yet. We're still 10 minutes away from the Vanity, but as Julie Crone said, win, lose, or draw, she had to come out and see her, and thousands have done exactly that on this Sunday at Hollywood Park, and it'll just grow and grow, the applause, as she will head out to the post parade here for the Grade 1 Vanity. She'll head through the tunnel here in Hollywood Park. And you can see the pictures being taken and hear the appreciative crowd as well. In conjunction with this historic day, Hollywood Park was giving away Zenyatta bobblehead dolls to those who paid the general admission of $8. I just received word from a longtime racing fan. They're already being offered up on eBay for $100. So yes, the keepsakes are in demand, and anything that has been close to Zenyatta is in demand. Mike Smith clearly has said Zenyatta the best she's ever faced, and here's that walk that we're talking about around the ring.
Yeah, that famous walk, and it's she's going to go by a lot of fans here watching her at the paddock. They're lined up 4 and 5 deep out there, and a lot of people now, as they're going to make their way on the track, a lot of people racing down to the rail here to watch her go onto the track. It's just a really exciting time out here at Hollywood Park today.
She has 5 rivals today, and a significant one, as we said, in St. Trinian's. There's a look at Willow Away. Vladimir Serin knows what it's like to run up against Zenyatta. He had Brecat run second to Zenyatta in last year's edition of the Vanity. It was a valiant effort by Brecat setting the pace, but in the end, Zenyatta won going away by 2.5 lengths.
Well, and a filly, you know, we hate to make this just a 2-horse race. I mean, we've got a filly, and here's Ardana, who's coming off of a very uncharacteristically bad race at Churchill Downs. But if we go 2 back, you look at her running line at the fairground, she's a win 3/4 of length in front of Rachel Alexandra, and they got a very, very good number out of that race. So no question that her stablemate Zardana is capable of running a huge race on her given day.
These Go Zenyatta posters were something that was started by TVG on Breeders' Cup Day when she ran in the Classic, became the first female racehorse to win the Breeders' Cup Classic. They did an updated version because her lifetime record was on the back to take into account that Breeders' Cup Classic win, and they were handed out at her retirement ceremony here at Hollywood Park at the fall meeting last year, and then it was announced. During the Eclipse Awards, they were coming back for her 6-year-old season, despite the fact she'd had 2 retirement ceremonies, and it was much appreciated that she did.
Well, I have not heard one complaint from anybody in racing or out of racing that she's back, and a lot of people really, really excited when they made that announcement. And you know, I can probably speak for the Mosses that they are much happier watching her running out competing than being pregnant out in the field.
And you can see everyone is lined up along the rail where the horses emerge from the tunnel. They're getting a look at Zardana, stablemate to Zenyatta. There's a look at Arset looking back out of the grandstand. And then we'll see the reaction from the crowd when Zenyatta emerges from the tunnel. The applause already breaking out. And there she is. For those of you who go to other sporting events, you've maybe heard the applause when the team takes the floor. This doesn't happen very often in horse racing, and this is one of those moments where horse racing gets to be like other sports and in the mainstream. If Zenyatta can make it 17 for 17, it'll be witnessed in various accounts around the country, in the mainstream media, on television, and in the newspaper, but you're witnessing it live here on America's Horse Racing Network, TVG, and we're very proud to have in a number of Fox Sports outlets from around the country for this historic moment. Zenyatta trying to go 17 for 17 and win the Grade 1 Vanity for the 3rd year in a row. Our post parade for the Vanity is brought to you by OCD Pellets. To find out more, go to www.ocdpellets.com. Our post parade begins with the one, Miss Silverbrook.
Yeah, and this pretty gray mare, gray filly by Cozine. She was 4th last time, beating only 2 lengths in the Milady, but she's got her work cut out for her in here.
And here is St. Trinian's. Mike Mitchell says she's ready. Does she look it?
Yeah, she definitely looks it. And you're talking about a 3-1 favorite in the Vanity Handicap against Colts. That's pretty impressive.
Roll Tide. Zardana is a daughter of Crimson Tide, and as mentioned by Ron Ellis 2 starts ago, beat your reigning horse of the year, Rachel Alexandra. Here is Willow Away, our longest shot, at 55-1.
Well, and she really seems overmatched in here. She had a good campaign in 09, but it looks like she's out of form.
And Zenyatta. Mike Smith, and as track announcer Vic Stauffer announces Zenyatta, the crowd breaks out in applause. They were reserved when the other horses were announced, but they could not contain their enthusiasm when Zenyatta is introduced. Here is the 6, Cherry Blossom Miss, our final horse in the field.
Yeah, she was 3rd in her last start, the Harry Henson at Sunland Park, but once again, another filly that appears to be overmatched.
We have just 4 minutes until Zenyatta's date with history yet again. And as this win streak continues, the discussion goes, where does she rank with the all-time greats? Well, it's been such a unique campaign, becoming the first filly and/or mare to win the Breeders' Cup Classic. In this case, now trying to become the first filly and/or mare to win the Vanity 3 years in a row. She's really becoming her own category.
Oh, I would say no, most definitely. I mean, you know, she's joined Azeri and It's in the Air and Convenience as 2-time winner of this race, the Vanity. Those are some pretty fancy names, but even they, you know, had some bumps in the road, which we have not seen from Zenyatta yet in her career. And you know, she's definitely, I think, in the top 3 mares of all time. I think you've got to list her right up in there.
And from a numbers point of view, in wagering on this race, she's 1-9. That's a significantly heavy favorite here. In other words, you got to bet $9 in order to get a profit of 1 here. And as far as what she'll return at the windows, it's inconsequential, certainly, to her owners and a lot of people here today. Jerry and Ann Moss take up their position in the box seat area, where they'll get the best look right on the finish line with Zenyatta. And it'll be quite a roar when Vic Stauffer announces that she is making her move from far back. If you've never seen Zenyatta run, she gets in the ball game late. She will, without a doubt, be last early.
Well, I don't know about that, really, to tell you the truth, Todd, in here, because I think Mike Smith is going to be very aware of that there's not a lot of pace in here. And carrying, as I mentioned earlier, carrying that 129 pounds, he mentioned it in the Vanity last year that he got her started a little bit earlier, not expecting her to have that big, explosive turn of foot that she normally has. Carrying that kind of weight, you've got it's kind of like an engine building. You know, you've got to build up the momentum, and they can't just make that sudden burst. And I think you're going to see Mike Smith ride her just a touch different here today.
It's never happened. She's never lost. Consider this angle when it comes to wagering on Zenyatta. When she had her debut, November 22nd, back in 2007 here at Hollywood Park, she was a 5-1 shot. That meant she paid $13 to win. If you had taken $100 to win on Zenyatta and then taken that money, the proceeds and the investment, and bet it on every start after that for her to win, you know what you'd be up to right now? $865,002. You can't get that on the stock market. A $100 win bet turned back into every single race after that. You're up to well over $800,000. Frank, you've seen her many times. You were there when she broke her maiden, the second start of her career. You called her one of the most special fillies or mares we'd even seen here before she was in Graded Stakes Company. How does she look today?
Well, she looks fantastic. She really looks great. But I will say that maybe she has lost a little weight. I heard Ron saying early on that they said she'd lost a little weight, and I would agree with him. She has lost a little weight, but she still looks fantastic, and mentally she looks so ready today.
Ron, you alluded to it, that there were people out there saying she had lost weight. Is this tied into the fact that she traveled to the Apple Blossom in Arkansas last time?
I would say for sure. You know, these horses, when they do ship, they do lose a little bit of weight, and it's not real easy to put the weight back on, especially when you're training them hard coming up to another race. It's a minimal amount. Believe me, she still looks fabulous. I will see her every morning. She's been feeling very good. Her exercise rider comes back with a smile every day, and I don't think that's going to be any effect in here.